Let's try this again, yeah? Jesus. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. I will someday learn how my mic works. And today, what are we doing? Today, we are looking at abstract syntax tree transformation. We were doing a lot of this over the last stream, and I wanted to continue on that because we kind of hit a wall where I was trying to figure out how ASTs work at all. And then I got stuck. I was kind of frustrated because with AST transformations, you don't like replace nodes or return nodes. You modify in place. And so I was really grumpy about that. And I learned a little bit more about why that happens and what causes that. And what I learned is that when you look at the nodes, you're getting the whole tree, right? So this is the whole document, and an average document can be huge. And so what we run into is that if you get one of these huge documents and you're making a bunch of copies of it and trying to like cut those copies together, it can just be a really big performance drain. So my initial frustration that I couldn't just like change a node and return the node that I wanted to change, like I get it. I do think it would be cool if there was an abstraction that allowed for that to happen, and there may be. I'm still not very deep into the AST world, but that was kind of what I was hoping for. So basically, what we're doing here is this is where we left off. We had hey, what's up, Ben? Rose Apple Media, what's up, y'all? And I appreciate the heads up on the audio. Speaking of audio, how good do I sound right now? Like, is this not? Oh, it's so nice. Um, yeah, so I got a new audio setup, and it cuts a lot of background noise and just basically makes me sound a little bit better. And Ben was actually joking in the Discord, the Party Corgi Discord, that I I should do ASMR. And so Ben, this is for you. Get close to your headphones. Holy buckets. That's terrible. No, that's terrible. I hate that. I hate ASMR. Okay, not for us today. So let's talk about ASTs, right? Okay, let's break down what's happening. So Unified is it's a library that kind of takes ASTs and makes them uniform. So whether you're looking at Markdown or JavaScript or MDX or whatever, Unified is trying to make that a standardized experience where you're kind of looking at nodes the same way. And through that, we can use Remark, which is the Markdown specific implementation of Unified, so that we can take Markdown files and turn them into a unified node. Then we can use Rehype, which is the HTML flavor of Unified, and we can do things like get Unified, read a Markdown file, turn that Markdown file into an HTML AST, and we want to keep our HTML, because what we had done here, oh, I guess we took that out. You can keep HTML, and then we use the rehype raw to turn like plain HTML strings into rehype. And then we wrote our own plugin of image to figure, which we'll look at in a second. And then we use this HTML output, which takes rehype and turns it into a string of HTML. And we pipe all of that work, like everything that we're going to use. We process the example.md file, and then we turn that into a string. And right now we're just logging those contents. So if I come back out here and I run basic parsing, it takes our Markdown file, which is here, and it takes this image tag and turns it into this figure. So we end up with a figure that's got the image inside of it. And now we did a lot of things like manually, because this is where I started to get frustrated about how it worked. And so we end up in this plugin to look at how this works. We are using something that's really common in ASTs called the visitor pattern. What's up, Nikki? And in the visitor pattern, you have like a function. Your plugin takes options, and we can look at how that actually functions here. So this is your plugin. These are the options, right? That's how it gets passed in. And then So we get the options here, and then we get the whole AST. So in the case of our pipeline here, example.md gets turned into a remark AST or a markdown AST. Then it becomes an HTML AST. Then we make sure that we've processed any raw HTML. And that's what we're getting here. So we're getting an HTML AST inside of our plugin. And what we can see is that like this plugin is the node. If I like log this, let me log the tree and the node, and we'll just take a look at what comes out. So if I run this again, we can see that the tree has a type of root, so that'll always kind of be like the top level element, and then it has children, and so in our case there are 3 children nodes. It gives us data whether or not we're in quirks mode, which is fun. And then we get some positional information about like where it is. So it starts at index 00 and goes to line 4 index whatever. And then we have our node. And so like an individual node, so this image node, we get a type of element. So it's an HTML element. Then it's a tag name, so we know that it's an image element. And then it gives us properties. So we've got our source property, our alt property, whether or not it has any children. Images don't have children, so that's going to be an empty array. And then again, more information about where it is in the document. So if we wanted to do something like very special with this, where we wanted to change it up or screw around with how that's configured, we could do that here. And ultimately, what we're then able to do, let me get that out of the way. What we then can do is, now that we have this node, we can do things like grab out the source and alt. And what we ended up doing actually was just completely replacing the node. So we take our image node here, because we, with the visitor pattern, we start with our tree, and then we write this predicate function that says like, I only want nodes that match images. And that's cool, that's what we wanted. And then we get the node, and if we need it, we can get, I think, the index and the parent in this pattern, but we're only using the node here. So inside, we walk through, and like I didn't end up using this, but I pulled out the source and alt from the image tag, and then I built this whole new element. So I grabbed the node type is going to be element, the node tag name is going to be figure, and then we add some children. So we add an image element, and we set up some deal here. So like what we could do is actually take our details from up here, the source and alt from the original image, and drop those in. And then we also added a whole new thing, which is the figure caption. And like maybe what we want to do is use the alt for this. And I'm going to delete that title since we don't really need it. And now if I run this again, we can see that our puppy is in there, the alt shows up, and the fig caption is now the alt text. So like we have a lot of control over what we're doing here, and we can just kind of add anything really if we want. So once we get that, then this is the part that I couldn't figure out, because here we're saying get anything that's an image. And what I was running into is that when I like threw this down, when I would return this image, it would reprocess and it would give me this infinite loop. So what I learned is that visit gives us this thing that we can return, which is visit.skip, and that prevents it from recursively processing this node. So we're basically saying, once we get here, we're done. No more additional processing on this node. And so that's what that's what we need. That's what we're after, is not reprocessing this image, which would kind of give us an infinite loop of figures. So that's all well and good. What I wanted to figure out then was I wanted to figure out how to do like just basically showing the AST. I'm turning this into a blog post to try to explain it. Oh, Nikki's got a question. With this, could you also add your own syntax to Markdown? Like, oh yeah, like do like a single, like the normal syntax for an image is an image, but if you added like a double bang, it would be a figure. Yes, you definitely could. However, I've seen people do that. I don't know how it's done. The way that I have, let me pull up a window here. The way that I've seen this done is it was called, let's see, remark. Nope. I think it was just like, let's just find the remark repository. So here's remark, and it gives us packages, and those aren't the ones we need, so maybe there's like a list. Awesome remark. This is going to be helpful. So plugins, the one that I was looking for was like for attributes. Nothing? Maybe it was just called like remark attribute. Yeah. Okay. So this is like a custom syntax thing where you can add extra stuff to your markdown. So let's figure out how that works. This is going to be exciting because I haven't looked at this code base. So, get into the source, look into the index. So, type and HTML tag name. All right, so that's like a hash table. Tokenized generator, that seems like it does a lot. Filter attributes. Tokenized fenced code, okay. Kind of just want to see how the thing does. So I'm looking for inline block tokenizers. Oh man, there's a lot in here. So how is it finding this stuff? This might be more than I don't even know how they're finding the how do they find that object? Like I don't quite get filter attributes. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm not sure how it's even identifying where things are. So basically, I get what it does. I do not get, oh, here we go. Prefix length. Okay. So it's basically saying look for attributes and then parse them. And it gets the, yeah, I mean, so yeah, basically you can absolutely do this. I have no idea how or why this is set up the way that it is, but so you know, short answer is yes, you can totally do that. What's up, Tony? And Lam Solen Kamet. I am so sorry for what I just did to your name. So yeah, my intention is to get to the point where we can do lazy loading of images, and I want to do that from generated assets is kind of the idea. So I'm just curious how this will work. So the thought here is like, all right, so I've got this image. It's a corgi. We're pulling up the let's just look at this dog. Actually, I feel like we should. It's a good place to start. Like this is a good dog, right? And so what we want to do is get from the markdown into HTML, and then we want to convert the image to a figure. And so I started working on this kind of separately. And what I wanted to do is I had this idea that like, what if you could put the next paragraph is the figure, like the caption. And I decided that's a bad idea because it's way too brittle. So I think there's a reasonably good chance that this would go like poorly, right? So I'm thinking that instead, what we probably want to do is, you know, just be more. I don't know. We'll probably need some kind of like custom syntax or something, but we could use that remark attributes. What's up, Eco? Um, and in doing that, we could pull things out. But so basically, I figured this out, and I was really excited about it, where I was able to get the image tags. So any like grab the paragraph and then make sure that it's a paragraph containing an image tag. And then I grabbed out the image node. I grabbed out the next paragraph tag, which I did by going to, I got the parent, right? And then you go from the parent into the children. And then I made sure that it was the paragraph right after this image node or after this particular node. Then grabbed out that node, grabbed out the caption, and this is where it got weird. So basically, if you want to remove a node, you have to use splice to like change the children array in place. And that just like keeps all the nodes except the one. So I basically said, starting at the caption node index, remove one node, which feels, it's very not in line with the way that I usually write code. So it's taken some getting used to, but it works, and it does make sense. You know, now that I know that if you try to duplicate the tree a bunch of times, you're gonna hurt your performance. So I understand the logic. I'm less salty about it today. Then we just build out our figure again. So we have a node type of element and a figure. We put an image inside. We use the source and alt from the Markdown. But then we can create this figure caption and use that caption. So if we look at the corgi, we have an image tag. And so here's the alt text, here's the source, and this is just a paragraph. But if I run this, we go node index, and we see that we get the source lines up, the alt lines up, and then that next paragraph gets used as the caption. Now again, this is brittle, because if I were to like not want a caption and just start my next sentence, you know, like literally anything else that I say, something unrelated. As soon as I do that, now that will get pulled in, and that's not what we want. So there's kind of a this is not a good transformation. This was more like, can I make it do the thing that I want it to do? So I would say don't actually use this, because this is like proof of concept, trying to understand how the nodes work, how things move around. But like, yeah, this would be too brittle. So the next thing that I wanted to figure out is I wanted to take a look at what it's like to do CSS. So let's create a new thing. Because I think unified, I think we get a CSS tree, right? No? Actually, maybe I don't want CSS. Maybe I want JavaScript. So I want to look at unified, and then that's going to have where are the plugins? Oh, I might have to use like the Babel parser for this. Let's see. Yeah, looks like I'll have to use Babel. But that's okay, because we've got AST Explorer. And AST Explorer actually makes this kind of nice. So if I take, so that's not what I want. We'll do transform with Babel. No, I want that to be on. I just want this dropdown to go away. What's the difference between Babel 5. Okay, we want 7. Okay. Tony, what are you asking? Like, can I isolate it to the same line? Like, oh, like if there's a text node next to the image? Actually, that's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's just rewrite this. Let's make it happen. So let's see, it would be like this. Okay, and so then that would break. That's no longer doing what we want. But I can come in here and we would say, let's see, all of that's gonna break. I'm gonna, just to keep it from breaking, I'm gonna say like, please don't break. And then if I run this, what I want to see is what the node, I want to see what the node looks like. So I'm going to log it. Okay, so it's got 2 children. Let's log the children. And we get text. So what I can do then is I think I can actually just say like caption node equals node.children.find, and where the tag name is text. Is that tag? No, type. And then we can say that the caption is caption node value, right? And then I think this just got way simpler because now I don't even think we need to do any of this stuff. So we're not getting the node index. We're not getting, we've already got the caption. I don't need to remove nodes anymore because we're just rewriting this node altogether. So that means this just like do? It did. Yeah. So that's awesome. Good thinking, Tony. Yeah, so then we can just do like caption value dot trim to get any of that leading white space out. So we can see here we've got some leading white space. Indeed, it did just work. So yeah, this is super exciting, right? Like we are now able to kind of caption images without having to do anything special. We didn't have to write custom syntax. We didn't have to do, and like this is something that would be kind of odd to do in a Markdown document. Or at least it would be odd for me. I don't know that I've ever done an inline image in Markdown. Are my sound effects broken? They should definitely be playing. You busted? You should, yeah, you should be. Is it working now? You getting audio? That's gonna bum me out if that just all broke. Wait. Oh, wait. All right, do it again. Do it one more time. Anything? Can you hear it? Is that a yes or a no that you can hear it? Fuck. Okay. Well, I guess I broke it. So, don't know what's going on there. I'll have to tackle that on I don't know. I guess we'll see where we get on this. Maybe I can just tackle that afterward. So I have this other problem right now, which is that I can't hear my streaming PC because I switched out my audio stack, and I need a 1/4 inch adapter so that I can plug into monitor. So I have this whole other problem, which is that like I know that sound is happening because I can see the bar moving, but I can't hear it. So yeah, so slightly less fun stream today because we can't make a lot of sound effects. That being said, we did just like make this cool thing, which I think is very like I find this very exciting. Um, no, I just need like a regular 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch because like I've got this guy and wait there, yeah. So this little buddy, and the thing that I got only takes a 1/4 inch, like a TRS. So I just need a like what is it, 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch, um, which I ordered. It's on its way. I didn't get it before the stream today. So that'll be fixed later. I'll figure out what the hell I did wrong to the. I'm sure what I did was I clicked some setting, thinking that I was making my uh, making everything better on my stream, and like broke all of everything. So yeah, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, we'll definitely have sound before Monday. I'll fix it. I'll fix it like today or tomorrow. Um, so all right. So the next thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to look at like transforming JavaScript, and so specifically, well, maybe I even need to do that? Okay, I want to try something else first. I want to see what happens if I just have a um, I just want to see what happens if I put some like script in a thing. So I'm going to set up an index.html, and you're not going to auto expand for me, are you? Damn it. HTML. What's the just give me like a little simple thing. Did somebody just have a template? Maybe this one? Yeah. All right, so let's grab this, drop it in. Got our doc type, we got the lang, char set, all good. I'm not gonna worry about the responsive stuff because that's not really what we're doing, but and here what I want to do is let's add like a heading, and then we'll add a little bit of text, and let's see. And then I want to add some script, and I want to see what happens. Let's just do some basic stuff. I will, I guess, just do like something like that. All right, and so then I'm going to set up a parsing script, and let's do that as let's do. I want to get all this stuff out of here so I don't have to re-type it here. So I'm going to need the file system because that's how I load the file off the disk. I need unified. And then I just think I need like rehype, which I don't know that I have yet. So I'm going to go check that out. Let's check out rehype. I think this is what I need. Rehype parse. To parse HTML. Good, good. That gives us hast. And then we can, if you're in a browser, trust the content and value a smaller bundle size. No, I'm not going to do that. We're doing this in Node. So we need rehype parse. Okay. Then 2v file. What's that? I don't know what any of that means. I don't think I need it. So I'm going to rehype parse. I have, oh, this turns it into a Markdown document. That's kind of cool. So like if you had an export of, I don't know, some document that just gave you like kind of junky, uh, oh, you know what this would be good for? Like Word documents. You know when you save Word documents as HTML and then it gives you like 1,000 useless classes and stuff. You could just pull this in, turn it into an AST, and turn it into Markdown, and that would dump all that crap. It'd get rid of it. This would be really, really cool actually, because it would give you a clean output without having to go in and write, you know, any replacement stuff. You would literally just grab it, turn it into Markdown. You could even turn it back into HTML and stringify it, and you would lose all of the classes and stuff that don't translate to the Markdown AST. So that would be kind of cool. All right, so then I want to get rehype. I think I need like rehype stringify, which I think I already have actually. Let's look. Rehype parse, rehype stringify. Okay, so that's what I want. I want to just kind of, let's do, let's get rehype, and that'll be rehype parse. Then I want to get to HTML. I feel like I don't like the naming because it's not clear what things are doing. So yeah, and then I can do like contents equals unified. Then I want to use rehype, and I want to use to HTML, and I want to process sync, and we'll do fs read file sync index.html, and then to string, and then we'll just console log that. And what I think we'll get is just like the same thing. So let's go out into this new doc, node index, nope. All right, so cool. So it kind of like pulls it in and spits it back out and everything stays intact. So what I'm curious about is what happens here. So I'm going to add a plugin, and we'll just, I don't know, let's call this a thing. And we'll get that from here. So I'm going to create that. And in this one, I'm going to get the visitor. Well, I don't even need that yet, do I? I can just module.exports. We're not using options. And then we're going to get the tree. And I just want to console log the tree. And I think this is going to be huge. So, well, it should, the console will truncate it, I think. Typo that. How about now? You good? All right. So let's put this plugin into the chain, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we get our root, we get our children, data. Okay, so let's all right, so I'm going to turn off this log because we know that we're getting that doc back. I want to save some space. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stringify, which is going to be huge, I think, the whole tree. Let's see what happens. Okay, so here we're getting a bunch of content. So we've got, all right, here's the top. So you've got our root. In the root, we have a doc type of HTML. All right, so that just shows up as a child. You know what I'm going to do to make this easier? I'm going to pull this whole thing out. And I'm going to put it into like a, I guess I can just console log it, huh? Right, and now I can do like a tree. And I think this, yeah, this will be way more explorable. So now we've got our children. Shut that down. And so there's the doc type, and then we've got our HTML element. And then let's see. We would get into the children. We've got the head. And then so this is kind of a pain. The new lines get turned into text elements. It's not really hard to work around. It's just something to be aware of, that like you can't just say like, oh, the head and then the next thing is the body, because white space is going to show up and you have to either explicitly get rid of that or you have to just kind of work around it. So then we get into the body tag. So we're in the body. Let's get into the children again. And we get our H1 and thing. And what I'm curious about is the script here. So what happens inside of our script? We get the properties of text JavaScript. That seems like what I want. And then this is text. So that is actually kind of okay for what I want, because what I'm ultimately trying to do here, like if we look at kind of the ultimate goal, let me see if I can find an example here. So I wrote this, what is it called? I can't remember. I'm going to go find my username because that's where I know it's at. So in here I have, yeah, responsive lazy load. And so this code is like set up where you have to kind of define, you know, the source and the source set and whether or not the image needs to be lazy loaded. I don't know if this is best practice. So I'm just going to come out and say that right now. I wrote this a long time ago. I think the last time this was published was 2 years ago. So the thought though is that I could take a serious like I could take an image, right? So we've got a markdown file, and that markdown file is going to generate let me get my code back up. So this markdown file is going to generate like, where the hell did it go? Where's my corgi? So this is just going to generate like a standard image. And if we use something like Gatsby Image, then all this performance stuff gets baked in. You get your like source set auto generated. You get your lazy loading inlined. You know, the aspect ratio stuff gets auto detected. So all these things happen that just kind of make your images better without you having to write that code. And I think that what we can do is make that into something that works everywhere, because static sites generate assets. And if we can go through and detect where images are, then it would be relatively straightforward for us to say, hey, go through and just transfer or transform all of these images into lazy loaded images. And so we might do something like, maybe what we would want to do is like just straight up tag it like this or something. Or like in the HTML, we could add support for doing like a data lazy load true or something like that. Like this, it's data lazy load. But if we do that, then we could just do it like unilaterally. Like, here you go, everything's going to get lazy loaded. Or we could just make that a setting too, like in the whatever runs this. But so that's kind of what I'm working toward, this idea that like, hey, maybe I can just change images in a static file to a better version of that same thing. And this also means like I could do stuff like throw this local image. Like if I've got a local image, I could just throw that local image up to say CloudNir and replace the markdown. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. That sounds like fun, because I need to do some research on what proper lazy loading is. So maybe that's for another stream. And just time checking. Let me make sure I don't have something that I'm supposed to be doing. When is my hard stop? I have to be done by 10:30 Pacific, which means I got like 45 minutes here. So so let's do that. Let's try to get CloudNir hooked up so we can take a local image. So I'm gonna grab a local image. Let's find an image we can download. Let's go to like Unsplash, and I'm gonna intentionally get an oversized image. Look at that cake. I should not look at something that's gonna make me hungry. Let's look at. They have corgis? Oh, you bet they do. Oh man. Okay. All right, chat. Let's take a vote. Should I continue writing code, or should we just look at pictures of corgis for the remainder of this episode? Just immediate votes for corgis. These are, oh man, these are good photos. Holy crap! Look at these dogs. Okay, all right, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna take this one of the corgi in the snow. It's a cool photo, and we can let's download it. All right, and I will get this. Look at those corgis go! Even without the sound, that is an amazing. I'm so that's the greatest thing I've ever done. Oh, the sound worked. Haha! Oh, that's good news. Okay, excellent. I'm really happy to hear that. Yes. All right. Good. We're back. So all right. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to so the fun thing for me is I can see that things are happening, but I can't hear it. So basically, y'all can distract yourselves as much as you want today. All right, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to go into this this index file. I am going to create an image tag. Let's see. This is a chili corgi, and we want. I guess we can. How do I want to do this? I guess it doesn't matter. Like I'm just gonna drop in this keep the credit in place. Let me take this over here, and we'll just link to it instead of. All right. Always want to attribute creators. All right. So then we got an image, right? I'm gonna take this image, and I want this image to be. Let's do images, corgi, JPEG, and then I need to actually move that. So let's, how big is this thing? I don't know if I want it to be like full size, right? Actually, let's use a tool that I love. We're going to use Squoosh. So squoosh.app is really, really good for this stuff. So I'm just going to drag this image in. I want to resize it because we're probably not going to go too much bigger than like, let's say 3x at 600 pixels wide. And so we'll resize it to like 3 times too big. And so that gives us, that's still like a big image, especially if you're on a mobile connection or something. But I love this slider too, because you can kind of see the difference in what the image looks like. And so we're making this thing significantly smaller. So that's part of why it makes such a big difference. But like also we could mess with all sorts of things. We could turn the quality up to 100, and then that would make it much less of a difference. But again, going down to a third of the size is gonna notably impact quality. So I'm just gonna pull this down. All right, and then I'm going to take this image. I'm gonna create a folder called images, and then I want to put this image in it. And I'm gonna rename it to corgi. Okay. So now if I load this, right, we've got an H1. So let me, I think I can just like start a quick server here. Let's do, get out of here. All right. I'm going to get into, where am I? Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to get into this one. And we will npx npm serve. I think this is a good one, right? Yeah. I think this just works, so we'll see. Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're in good. We're in decent shape here. Let's add just a. Who wants to watch me write CSS? I'm gonna do it. So I'm going to add on the HTML and body. We'll do box sizing. Border box. That's like my whole reset. And then the other part of the reset is margin 0. And then we do plus this is margin top, like 1 rem, and then we'll set the font size to like 22 or something, 22 pixels. Wow, come on, type. All right. Then if I reload this, okay, we're in better shape. We're in better shape. Let's set the font family to system. Yeah, I love these autocompletes are so nice. Okay, then the other thing that I want to do is just make sure that, like, I think I'm just gonna cheat. I'm gonna say the body is margin 0, but it's got a width of let's say 600 pixels, and we'll center it. Okay, that's good. Then we want images to be max width 100%. All right, we did it. We've got ourselves a site. And I'm just gonna add, I guess I'll add like a little bit of spacing around this. That's too much. It's too much. All right, better. So we've got our basic, trying to make this not scroll. There we go. So we've got like a simple page and we want to show this dog. And so what I want to do is I'm going to parse the AST, upload this picture to CloudNir, and replace the image with an image that has a source set. Yes. So let's start with the first thing, which is the CloudNir stuff. And to do that, I'm going to steal my own code from, nope, it's out here, CloudNir devs. And I want CloudNir devs, Gatsby transformer, CloudNir. Yep. And then I can dig in here and figure out that the Gatsby node, I think, is where this happens. Nope, it happens in upload. So this is what I want. I want to see where the upload happens. So we're going to need CloudNir. So I'm going to yarn add CloudNir. And then we can just write a function that will upload this. Okay. In fact, I might just copy this outright because I don't know that we need to really rewrite this. So I'm going to call this upload.js. I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to change a couple things. I don't really care about creating the derived images. This is a CloudNir setting that will, well, actually, let's talk through what this does. So the first thing is I need to get my cloud name, API key, and API secret. So that means I'm also going to need .env. So let's add that. And then I'm going to need to create a .env folder. And I'll just add it here. And the way that this will work is we're going to need CloudNir, what is it? CloudNir cloud name, CloudNir API key, and secret. And to get these, we are going to go to cloudnir.com/console. And I need to log in. All right, so let's get signed in. And so now I've got like my whole dashboard and stuff. And so I've got my API key, my cloud name, all that. So I can set my cloud name, got my key, and then I'm going to pull this off. Actually, what do I do? I'm just going to pull this off screen because I know that you hackers love my secrets, but you cannot have them. All right. So now I can pull in .env. And so what this is doing is it's going to read this .env file, and then config is just a way for if we wanted to change like what the file name or something was called. Then I can now have access to these. So I can do process.env.cloudNary cloud name, and then I have API key and API secret, right? And so the folder, I'm going to call this like AST transforms. The absolute path needs to be, okay, how does that work? We send in the node. The absolute path is the path on disk in Gatsby. So I need to get the path to the file on disk. That's fine. I need to get the upload folder, which is, we just set that. The public ID is the name of the image. So I'll set that manually, but we would want to figure out a way to get it done. And then we're also going to create responsive breakpoints. And so what that means is that like the image is going to go every 20,000 bytes, it will create a new image at a new resolution. And that's how we get our source set back. So we don't even have to actually do any work here. Like, and if we wanted to, we could do this manually as well. We could say like, you know, our breakpoints are 200, 400, 800, 1600, something like that. And then just create 4 URLs, because CloudNir is very cool about this, where it'll let us kind of transform the image using our URLs. In fact, I wonder if I could just use, I could just use this plugin. Nah, that's fine. It'll be more fun to write it. So, so in here we need our image URL, and we're not going to pass in any options. So we're going to send in the image URL. And actually, I think we're just going to pass this in as an image. So URL and name. So we're going to send in the URL. It's not a URL though, is it? It's a path. And that needs to be not a reserved name. And we send in the name. For these, like, I guess that's okay. We can just leave those. Okay. So I think that'll work. We can try it. So let's get back out here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite example to be replace with CloudNir asset. Yes. Isn't that dope that it does that? Doesn't quite get it right, but like it gets close. Okay. So now I have this like, let's see, use CloudNir. That's fine. And so what'll happen inside of our document now is that we're going to be able to both import, we're going to need visit, which is going to come in from require unist util visit. And then we also need the upload, which will come in from upload, right? And so now what I want to do is we're going to write a visitor. It's going to take the tree. We're going to find node tag name equals image. And I want to get the node, and it's going to have properties. So I should be able to just say like const path equals node properties source. We'll say image path. Let's console log that to make sure that I am correct. And we'll just run it. Because that's how I develop things, is by repeatedly rerunning the script. Okay, we got an error. What did I mess up? Visit is not defined because I spelled it wrong. Go team. Here we go. All right, so we've got our image. So then this may just work. I don't know if it actually needs to be a, I don't know that this actually needs to be an absolute path. So let's just try it. So I'm going to upload, and now this upload is returning, it's async, so it's going to return a promise. And that promise will resolve with the result. So I'm just going to upload image path, and we'll hard code it as Corky. And then result, and we will console log that result. Did I mess that up? What don't you like? Upload. Oh, gotta give it a name. How about now? All right. Okay, didn't like that. Upload is not a function. Yes, it is. Oh. I'm just going to make this the default. Module.exports. Do it, do it, do it. Yeah, look at that. So, so this now that was slow, right? So that in and of itself kind of poses a potential challenge here, because if that is going to happen sequentially, that is absolutely unacceptable. Because it wouldn't save us any, I mean, it would make it so slow, right? So what is cool though is like now we have, I believe, yeah, it just works, right? And then if I want to mess with this, I can do things such as we can make it like itty bitty teeny tiny. Or I think I can just like, no, that's not it. How do I do it? It's effect grayscale. Yeah. So we can do like cool things to these images without having to like do the work, right? So like CloudNir just handles this in the background for us. And what's really cool about that is it means that when we look at this output again, we're getting back responsive breakpoints, and that's a whole array of pre-set up images that have the sizing already applied to them. So another thing that we're going to do that's very cool, let me open this up again, is check out how big this image is. So like we are looking at, it's a 192 kilobytes, and that's, you know, that's fine. It's not terrible. But check this out. If I do Q auto and F auto, so quality auto and format auto, and request this page, it's already down by like, what is that, 20-ish%? So this is really slick, right? Like it just did what we wanted it to do. I didn't have to change the image or anything. I just told it to use the best format. The other thing that's cool is I think that this just got sent back as a, did you come back as a WebP? Yeah, comes back as WebP instead of a JPEG. So it's just like, it's just cool how that works. It'll like solve these problems for us and we don't have to think about it. And that's full size too. Like that's the 1800 pixel version. So if I make this thing even smaller, like I make it, you know, let's say 600 for a 1 DPI setup, it's now 33.5 kilobytes and I didn't have to do any work. So that's the cool thing that is going on here. So there's like, there are a handful of things going on that I think we'll have to think about as we move. One is like, oh, and it got put into my AST transforms folder, which also makes me happy. So like, here's our corgi uploaded. So when I'm going to worry about the performance bottleneck later because right now I just kind of want to step through the rest of the process of converting this thing over. So let's take the result that we get. What happens if I just do an async await here? I'm going to try it. And I want to see if this thing explodes. So let's do this and this. I'm going to run this script again. It does not like it. Told you were an async. Oh, this one needs to be async. Okay, you gonna work? Sick. Okay, so that's cool that you can make these async. That makes my life easier. So now we've got our result. We're getting the image back, and that means that I can say node.source would be what? It would be like the result dot secure URL. And that's not ideal, but it's fine. But what is cool is let's just like console log the result dot responsive breakpoints. And I'm gonna stringify that so that we can actually see it all. What I should do is figure out, can we check if it's already been processed? Because that would be really powerful. Yeah. So we get back our an array that has responsive breakpoints in it, and we get the secure URL. And this is the part that I think is really cool. It gives us back the width. So we get one at 200, 433, 603, 736. And, you know, each one of these is just jumping by about 20,000 bytes, which like, that's really cool when you think about it, because what that means is for somebody who's on like a feature phone using 2G internet in like the Midwest somewhere where there's not a cell tower around, it's going to speed this up so much versus having to wait for their phone to just bring 192 kilobytes of image down that they don't need. They need like none of those on this, you know, on a small phone like this little feature phone. You only need this 27 kilobytes, right? So yeah, well, I mean, I'm not picking on the Midwest. This is going to be true for people in like Africa, people in, you know, like anywhere around the world where you don't have super strong internet all the time. Like when I'm back home in Montana, it takes forever to do anything on my phone because the signals are just not great, right? But like, yeah, it just takes, it's honestly like coffee shop Wi-Fi. Coffee shop Wi-Fi is typically hot garbage, right? Or like when I'm on if I buy the internet on a plane, which is like buying the internet on a plane is one of those things where I'm like so mad about it because you're effectively paying someone to piss you off. Like that's how I feel about plane Wi-Fi. Is I'm like, hey, let me give you $40 so that you can give me something garbage that I'm going to be mad about. But I still do it. I'm an idiot. Okay. Let's make this thing work. So what I want to do is I want to get into my responsive breakpoints, and I want to. Where are they? I want to look at the top. So we have to go to like responsive breakpoints, first index, and then we get into breakpoints. And each of those is going to give us back a width, which we need for the source set, and a URL or a secure URL that we need for setting that. So let's do a little map. We'll map a Rooney. So we'll say breakpoints is going to be result dot responsive breakpoints, and we'll just get that first index and breakpoints. I guess we don't even really need to map this, do we? That looks gross, so I'm going to destructure instead. I don't know if that looks any better, but it makes me feel better. And then we can get our source set by mapping over those. So we'll breakpoints.map, and we can call this a breakpoint because we know where we're going. And I want to return the, let's see, we got the width. So the format that we need when we look at a source set is, what's this going to do? The image object. Yeah, so we need to get back the, come on, show me your, where's the thing? That's what we need. We need an array of the secure URL and the breakpoint width followed by a W, which is for like 200 wide, 1800 wide. So I can actually, I think, just do one of these little buddies, and we'll say bp.secure URL, whoops, secure URL, and then we can do bp dot width w, okay, and then join, right? So then I can set, I guess I can just do it like this, node dot source set, and it would be node dot properties dot source and node dot properties dot source set, because those are like they are properties of the element, is why that would happen, is why I'm saying those things. Okay, so then if I do this, I think, oh, it's not going to log anything because I forgot to turn this part out. So let's run this. Actually, is this still running? You're still running. So I can reload this, and I want to see, did you do the thing? No. Now, is that because oh, we're not writing it to file is why. So let's write it to file, which I can do, I think, just using unified. Nope. Nope. Unified. Yeah, but how do I just put it into a file? Virtual file format. Yeah, but what if I just want to write it? Just let me put the Okay, I'm not going to worry about this because Node, I'm pretty sure FS just lets me do this. Write. I don't want to write streams though. I just want to write to a path. Write file, probably want to do it sync. File descriptor. Oh boy. Show me some code. Okay. So this is buffer from data options encoding. How do I get a file descriptor? FS create. Right. Well, yeah, write file sync is the easier one, but how do I get, like, what is a file descriptor? I don't just put a name in there, do I? FS write file sync example. Thank you, Stack Overflow. You're my only hope. You do just put in a name. Is this legit? All you have to do? Interesting. All right, I'm trying it. Let's just see what happens. I'm going to fs dot write file sync, and we're going to call this output.html, and we will put in contents. That seems too easy. Here we go. Holy buckets. That is unbelievable. Okay, so we can already see this didn't work. So let's go figure out why. Use CloudNir. And so we are making changes. Why don't you like this? This seems like it should work. I wonder if it's because we made it async. Let's try that. Oh, but that still wouldn't solve the problem, would it? Because we would still need to have, we still need to delay execution somehow. Let me just try logging the node. And let's see what happens. Okay, so it logs. Here's the thing. So that's right. Yeah, so it did the thing, but it's not replacing the output, which means the execution is like it's pulling this node out of the thing. I think this might be a scope issue, and I'm not sure I know how to solve it. Let's Google. What would it be? Visit AST async. Nope, nope, nope. None of these are what I want. Unified visit async. Would I have to do this externally somehow? Well, you know what would be kind of interesting though is like we know the identifier. So I don't need. Oh, interesting. Okay. So here's the thing. I don't have to wait because I already know the identifier. So I can build my. All right, so let me step through this. So the way that these work, the way that that CloudNir URLs work, if I can find my, let's open this up, right? So this is my bucket name. So this is always the same, res.cloudnary.com, unless you're doing like custom domains or something, which I don't think works on the free tier, so don't worry about it. Then you have your bucket name, which is my username. Then the resource type, which is an image, and then upload, which is always there. And then this is kind of an optional caching string. So if we don't include it, it's fine. And I'm pretty sure we can just put whatever we want in there and it will, so this just needs to be, I think it might break if I don't put a V in front of it. Yeah. So you have to put like V some string and that becomes the, oh, does it have to be a number? It has to be a number. So V and then a string of digits becomes your unique cache string. Then you have the folder that you upload to, and then you have the name. So I don't actually need to wait for the file to be uploaded. So the risk with this is that if I do it and the file upload fails, we would have broken URLs. However, it's unlikely to fail and we would be able to just retry. So we'll need some like retry logic, we'll need some way to notify, but like as a general sense of what we want to get done, I think I can just make this work. So let me add another little helper function in here. How are we doing on time? All right, I got like 10 minutes. Let's see how fast we can do this. We're going to build URL. And so I want to module.exports. We're going to take a, we're going to require the .env so that we don't have to do all that stuff on our own, .config. Okay. Then I want the file name. And the other thing that I needed was the upload folder. And I guess we could just, I'm not going to default. We're just going to assume that it's set. And then in here, I want to return, oh, we need transformations. Okay, I'm going to do these in an object so that they're not all positional. And then we'll set transformations, and those will default to, I'm just going to do a string, W auto, nope, Q auto, F auto. So then what I can do is I can get the URL base is https res.cloudnary.com. I feel like there are ways that I could solve this that are easier, but then I'm going to say bucket or cloud name will be process.env.cloudnary cloud name. Then we have the upload folder. So basically we want to return URL base. I'm going to do it with slashes in the thing here. URL base, cloud name. Then we have upload. Then we have some kind of a version string that I'm going to omit for now. I'll just hard code it. And then we have the, we need to put transformations in here. And we need the upload folder. And finally, the file name. And so if I have that, what I can do then is we'll say const get URL, and that'll be get, what was it? Build URL. So then, because I know the image name, I can say corgi. We'll drop this out, and we'll have to determine that from the file system. Like we could just grab I think FS will give us file info, and we could just drop in the file path. But I want to get this working first, and then we'll try to fix that. So then I'll say get. So source would be get image URL, and then we needed the file name, the upload folder, which we set, I think we just set in the thing, so I'll hard code it here. Is that right? AST transforms. So this sucks. I need to fix this because that's going to confuse the hell out of people, but I will, for now, just do that. And then the file name is going to be name. And the transformations for this one will be QAuto node property source. Okay, let's start there. Let's see if that works. I'm going to get rid of these because we're not using them anymore. I'm going to get rid of that because we know that that part works, and I'm just going to comment that out because we need to rewrite it. So let's, I didn't like that. Invalid shorthand property initializer. What? That's a lie. Does that mean I have to do like one of these then? Why wouldn't that work? I know that works. What is wrong, chat? Where I use the function. Oh, God. Ugh. Thank you. All right. Let's try that again. Okay, so assuming. Yes. Okay. So it did the thing. So let's get the source set, and then I'm gonna shut it down. So we got 5 minutes. Up against the clock. It's a race against time. Here we go. We are going to do this, and instead of using the BP width, what I will do is say we want the breakpoints to be, let's say, 300, 600, 1200, right? So kind of simple, but we know for sure that this is going to be 600 pixels on display. So I guess we can also do 1800. And so what then we can do is say we want to, we'll make this into a full function because it's going to be confusing otherwise. We want the width to be BP itself. So I guess I can just call this width. And then I want my transformations to be QAuto. I should have these compose, FAuto, and W underscore width. And that's fine. And then I can say I want the URL to be build image URL. And we'll take all of this and we'll just swap out the transforms. right? Then I can return the URL and the width. And that should give us our whole thing. I think these need to be they have to be inverted. Let me check. Let's look at the Gatsby Transformer CloudNir.netlify.com. And let's just look at one of these and see what comes up. It starts big and goes small. And I believe the reason for that is that it will match the first one that it sees and use that. So we need to be, wow, okay, there we go. And 300. So then we're setting the source set. It should have 4 options in it, and I'm going to run it. Didn't work. What didn't work? Not access URL before initialization. Oh. Then we need to return it. Okay, so that is still blocking, which I don't want it to be. So I think, see, that's not async anymore. Is upload async? All right, we're not going to await this anymore. We don't need the result. So I'm just going to have it upload. And I think, let's try this. It might break on us. Oh, wait, now it's good and broken. All right, let's try that instead. Why is it still blocking? I don't know. I'll figure that part out later. But we have a source and a source set. And I believe this image should now be, where is it? Oh, right, we need to go to output. Oh, shit. Why did it break? Screwed it up. What did I screw up? rescloudnir.com, J Langsdorff. Oh, image. I forgot the image part. So I need to add in to the build URL, upload image. Okay, try it again. And I got those backwards. Damn it. Clearly not good under time pressure today. Let's try this one more time. Oh boy, my meeting is starting. Here we go. We're finishing this up, and then we're going to raid, and then we're going to shut it down. Work. Ha ha! Right on time. Okay, so now we have an image, and what's cool about this is we can see that it is the current source that it's using is the 1200 version instead of the 1800. So we're only downloading the data that we need. It's doing what we want. This shit is dope. I will commit this up and you know, we'll make that work. But yeah, y'all, we did it. We got it done with 0 time to spare. Stay tuned. We're gonna raid. I will see you soon. Check the schedule. learnwithjason.dev/schedule to see what's coming up. I've got our very own EcoMath channel mod is going to be on. We're going to build a Twitch extension, so that should be a good time. We'll see you on Monday. Later, y'all.